As the night unfolds in the mansion, the young wife is thrust into a high-stakes confrontation with the man who won her in a gamble, surrounded by men in rich traditional Nigerian attire, and every move she makes is under intense scrutiny. With each passing moment, her fear turns into determination, and a daring plan to regain her freedom starts forming. Tension mounts as she navigates through the opulent environment filled with traditional Nigerian artifacts and cultural symbols, all while plotting her escape from the suffocating grip of her husband's reckless mistake. The stakes are high, and emotions run even higher as she faces the biggest choice of her life. Will she reclaim her dignity or remain trapped? My name is Amara, and I never thought my life would change so suddenly. It all started one evening when my husband, Bayo, came home looking more nervous than usual. I could tell something was wrong, but I had no idea what he was about to tell me would turn my world upside down. Bayo was a kind man, but he had one weakness: gambling. He would spend long nights at the local club, playing cards with his friends. I had warned him many times to stop, but he never listened. He promised me that this time, it would be different. I believed him, like I always did, because I loved him. That night, after dinner, Bayo asked me to sit down. Amara, I made a mistake, he said quietly, his eyes not meeting mine. My heart raced, fear creeping in. I was at the club again, he continued, and things got out of hand. I lost everything. I felt a chill run down my spine. What do you mean, everything, Bayo? I asked, trying to stay calm. He hesitated before speaking. I gambled more than I had, and when I had nothing left to bet, His voice trailed off. You what? I pressed. I bet you, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I gambled you away, Amara. It felt like the ground beneath me was crumbling. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own husband had gambled me away like I was some kind of property. I stood up, my legs shaky. How could you do this to me, Bayo? I cried, tears filling my eyes. I'm sorry, Amara, I didn't mean for it to happen, he said, standing up to reach for me, but I stepped back. The man who won, his name is Chief Namdi. He's expecting you to go to his house tonight. Tonight, I gasped. This was happening too fast. My head was spinning. Bayo nodded, shame written all over his face. He said if you don't come, there will be consequences. He's not a man you want to anger. I felt trapped, with no way out. What kind of man would claim a woman as his prize in a card game? My mind raced with fear, anger, and betrayal. How could Bayo do this to me? But deep down, I knew I had no choice. If I didn't go, things could get worse. As the clock struck midnight, Bayo drove me to Chief Namdi's mansion in Lagos. The house was enormous, with tall gates and security guards at every corner. It was clear that this man had a lot of power and influence. I felt small and helpless as we approached the front door. A man dressed in a fine, traditional Nigerian outfit opened the door. You must be Amara, he said with a sly smile. Chief Namdi is waiting for you. Bayo squeezed my hand one last time before I stepped inside. The door closed behind me, and I felt like I had entered a cage. Inside, everything was lavish: golden chandeliers, expensive paintings, and modern Nigerian artifacts decorated the room. It felt like a palace, but I was not here as a guest. Chief Namdi was sitting on a large couch, surrounded by 3 other men. They were laughing and talking, but when I entered, the room fell silent. Namdi stood up, his eyes scanning me from head to toe. He was older, probably in his late 50s, with a round belly and a confident smile that made my skin crawl. "Welcome, Amara," he said, his voice smooth but unsettling. "I've been waiting for you." I stood frozen, unsure of what to say. The other men were watching me, their eyes gleaming with interest. I felt like prey in a room full of predators. Chief Namdi walked closer, his smile widening. "I must say, Bayo was a fool to bet something as precious as you. But his loss is my gain." I clenched my fists, anger boiling inside me. "I'm not something to be won in a game," I said, my voice shaking with fear and fury. Namdi chuckled. "You have spirit. I like that. But remember, you're here because of your husband's debt. I suggest you make yourself comfortable." I swallowed hard, my mind racing with thoughts of escape. But how could I leave? The mansion was heavily guarded, and I didn't know what these men were capable of. I glanced around the room, searching for a way out, but it was clear that I was trapped. "Come, sit with us," Chief Namdi said, motioning to the couch next to him. I hesitated but sat down, my heart pounding in my chest. The men continued their conversation, laughing and drinking, while I sat there, feeling invisible and powerless. As the night wore on, I realized that Chief Namdi wasn't going to let me leave anytime soon. I had no idea what he wanted from me, but I knew one thing for sure: I had to find a way to get out of this situation, no matter what it took. The hours passed slowly, and when the men finally left, Chief Namdi turned to me. "You will stay here tonight," he said. "But don't worry, I won't touch you, yet." His words sent a shiver down my spine. "I want to go home," I whispered, tears filling my eyes. "You are home now," he replied, his voice firm. "Bayo has given you to me, and there's no going back." I felt hopeless, but I knew I couldn't give up. There had to be a way out of this nightmare. I would bide my time, play along if I had to, but I would never stop looking for an escape. As I lay in the guest room that night, I made a vow to myself. I would survive this, no matter what. And one day, I would make Bayo pay for what he had done. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more dramatic stories on this channel, Timeless African Stories. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you do in her shoes?